Now it's time to look at Nigeria's economy in view of the recent reforms, which the government says is laying the foundation for a stronger, more resilient economy. And this morning, we go beyond these economic reforms to ask if these words are being matched with action. This morning, joining us via Zoom, we have Nick Agule, Global Economic Analyst, joining us. Good morning. You're welcome to the program. Mr. Agule, can you hear me? Okay, while we wait for Agule, Lillian.
Yeah.
Talking about these economic reforms, looking at, the Nigerian situation and, how the people are faring. What do you think about these reforms and, how it is translating to our economy now?
Well, beyond reforms, what comes next is implementation of these reforms and the ripple effect it has on foreign exchange, the ripple effect it has on the economy generally.
I mean, even the average Nigerian, I mean, we hear all these reforms. I mean, at a point we heard that our GDP is, improving and getting better. There was even a time we read on the headlines that we are meeting OPEC's quota, the quota for Nigeria and all of that stuff. But, the average Nigerian still complains about high cost of living, food prices. I mean, if you go to the market right now, a lot of people still find it difficult to afford staple foods. I mean, although the food prices are coming down apparently, but we still have people who are struggling to meet this. And now dollars is constantly fluctuating. 1 minute it's here, 1 minute it's there, 1 minute is there.
Right. And recently, the FG, I think they approved $2.6 billion to put in the power sector. But how far?
This morning we just read that the fuel price is already getting to 1,000, above 1,000 per liter. I mean, it's quite worrisome, because just like our topic, which we're supposed to be discussing right now, is talking on beyond these words,
reforms.
Beyond these reforms, what exactly is being done for it to translate to the average Nigerian to be able to get access to even feel, I mean, even the subsidy removal, a lot of conversations around the subsidy.
Even tariffs. What then?
I think Mr. Nick Agule is back on the line. Mr. Agule, can you hear us? Good morning.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Can you hear me as well?
Of course, we can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, let me ask you, to begin with, what is your evaluation of where Nigerian economy stands today, looking at, the recent wave of reforms?
Thank you very much for that question. The evaluation of Nigeria's economy can be looked at from two perspectives. So we have the perspective of the government, who are the policy makers, and then we have the perspective of Nigerians in terms of their personal livelihoods and what they are experiencing. So if you look at it from the government perspective, the government always comes out with statistics that show that the Nigerian economy is doing well. You actually hear statements from the likes of the Minister of Finance and other policymakers in government saying that Nigeria has turned the corner and we're now doing better, and that the pains are now subsiding and Nigerians are now having it better than before. They will show you statistics such as increase in foreign reserves, fall in inflation rate, even interest rate was cut marginally by the central bank. So those are the kind of statistics that they will show you. That's on the one hand. But on the other hand, you ask an average Nigerian, is your personal economy improving? What impact is the increase in foreign reserves having on your daily lives? And the answer you are going to receive from an average Nigerian is that things have not changed for the better. Because when this government came in, this government launched what they call reforms. And two of the cardinal reforms were removal of fuel subsidy. So immediately fuel subsidy was removed. The price of petrol jumped from about less than 200 to 1,000 naira today, and it's still going up. We heard today that the prices are still going up, even beyond the 1,000 naira mark. So you ask a Nigerian worker, who because of this increase in petrol price, his transport fare to and fro work jumped from maybe around 500 naira a day to about 2,000, 2,005, even 3,000 a day. If you ask that worker, has your life improved? Of course, the answer is going to be no. Why? Because he's still paying that 2,500, 3,000 naira per day to go to work. For that worker, things will only improve when either of two things happen. One, the transport fare has now reduced from that 2,500, 3,000 to maybe even 1,000, which is still above the 500 he was paying, but at least it has come down closer to it. That's the only way his life can change. Or the other way is that his salary is increased to become commensurate with the increased cost that he's facing. For a Nigerian worker, that is the only thing that will make him believe that things are getting better. He cares nothing about foreign reserves, cares nothing about the fact that we have GDP growth rate is rising. He cares nothing about the fact that our debt service to GDP ratio or our debt service to revenue ratio are improving. They care nothing about that. Again, the other cardinal policy of this government was that they removed the subsidy on the dollar. And that meant they unified the foreign exchange market. That automatically took the price of a dollar from about 465 naira to 1,500 naira today. And the impact of that is that because we're an import-dependent economy, every good and service that is imported into Nigeria, even if the price in dollars has not changed, let's say that good cost $1, a Nigerian consumer was paying 465 naira for that good before. Today, they will pay 1,500 for that same $1 good. Ask him, has your life changed? The answer is going to be no. Why? Because for so long as he's buying that good at 1,500, things are not going to change for him. The only way his life will change is if that good now becomes like maybe 700, which is, even though above the 465 he was buying, but at least it's not as bad as 1.5. You ask a Nigerian, is your electricity cost getting better? Because remember, when this government came into office, electricity was at 65 naira per kilowatt hour. Then they now launched band A, band B, band C. Now people in band A are paying as high as 225 naira per kilowatt hour. If you ask them, has your life changed for the better? They are going to tell you no. Why? Because they are paying for more. They are paying more for electricity and receiving more darkness in return, right? The same way, if you ask a typical household that your food bill, the food bill in your house, when you went to the market, before this government came into being, and now we are 2 years plus into this government, has your food expenditure reduced? They will tell you no, their food expenditure has not reduced. So even when the government say, oh, inflation is coming down, sometimes they even use mathematics to say, oh, we are rebasing. And then they crash inflation rate from 30-something% to 22% today, as they're saying. If you ask people who are going to the market to buy food, they will tell you that the price of food is still up there, high up there. Nothing has changed for them. So you can clearly now see that we're talking about two economic dimensions here. There's a dimension by the government and the government handlers and followers who think that Nigerians are now having it better. Then there's a dimension of the real Nigerian who has been facing this hardship. In fact, if you ask a real Nigerian that before this government came into power and now, has the security situation where you are better? And almost all Nigerians will tell you the security situation has not got better. The farmers are still in IDP camps instead of being in their homes. The government, though telling us that foreign reserves has increased, this government is unable to say how many farming communities they have liberated and sent the bandits away, like the president charged again yesterday. Remember that this president appointed service chiefs. Immediately he took office in 2023 and said the same thing to them. Go and get rid of bandits in our communities. Let the farmers come back. After 2 years, nothing happened. Yesterday, he uttered the same words to the new set of service chiefs. Go and get rid of the bandits. If you ask those farmers, that is Nigeria getting better for you? Of course they will tell you. Nigeria is not getting better for them because instead of being in their farms, where today they would have been going to go and plant and harvest for themselves and for the economy, they are in IDP camps begging for food, right?
All right.
So this is the two sides of the Nigerian economy that we are talking about here.
All right. Now, Mr. Agule, the Tinubu administration is actually targeting 7% economic growth by 2027. Do you think that it is realistic? And how can Nigeria actually ensure that these reforms reflect to ordinary citizens?
Economic growth that does not result to the growth of the individual Nigerian, to me, is useless. Of what use? Look, let's just bring it down to a household. You have a household of a father and a mother and say 4 children. And the father keeps saying that the economic growth of this household is improving, yet the children are hungry. The children are not seeing that economic growth in more food in the household, in more basics in the household. They are not seeing their school fees paid. They are not seeing their medical cover being done. They are not seeing electricity. They are not seeing housing. They are not seeing the basics in that house. Whereas the father is out on the street saying there is economic growth in my household. It's useless. So any economic growth that does not touch on the lives of Nigerians is as useless as the paper it is written on. So for me, to say how would we now get the economy to work for all, the answer is simple. For the economy to work for all, government policy must be targeted specifically at that. And here are the issues. Number one, this government came into office, they said fuel subsidy is gone. And we have seen the price of petrol jump, as I earlier said. What is this government doing to bring down the price of petrol? What are they doing? We have 4 refineries that are on the ground. The same gusto that the president used in removing fuel subsidy, why is he not using the same alacrity to deal with the refineries? After 2 years, it is painful to hear that after 2 years, the NNPC GMD only this week was sounding very unsure about what to do with the refineries. Talking about, oh, we're looking for technical partners. You use 2 years to look for technical partners for the refinery. You know, NNPC made refinery look like rocket science until Dangote refinery has come to prove that it's just a normal business that you can run. So what is the president doing to ensure that the refineries come back on stream and products are pushed into the market so that there's competition to Dangote, and the more supply, the lower the price, so that Nigerians can begin to buy petrol at maybe like 500 naira. That is what will make this thing better. The same thing applies to foreign exchange. If the dollar is now 1.5 and we are importing so much and it is costing us so much, what is the government doing about what economists call import substitution, meaning take those decisions that will make local production to thrive so that you don't have to now import to bring in a high cost and force it through the throats of your people. What is the power supply today? Has it increased? Without power supply, we're not going to have import substitution. So Nigerians will still continue to buy foreign goods and services at high cost, and the government hasn't even given attention to power. It has not given attention to high interest rates. With interest rate at more than 30%, there's no way there can be production in Nigeria, because who will borrow at 30% or 35% and produce and still be profitable? So you can see that the government is not taking such policies. The government is toying with bandits and terrorists. We have a chief of defense staff, a 4-star general. We have service chiefs, 3-star general. We have all sorts of generals. And yet bandits are occupying territory in Nigeria. They have taken territory in Nigeria. They have taken our people hostage. And this retinue of generals, they go home and they sleep. They wake up in the morning, they are done their uniforms, and they don't care that there are some spaces in Nigeria that are ungovernable. They are in the hands of terrorists and bandits, riffraffs, and the whole Nigerian armed forces is watching that, right? And then we have opportunities that we are not taking. As we speak today, we are still flaring our gas. Our oil production is less than 2 million barrels, whereas we should be producing 5, 7, 10 million barrels of crude oil to bring prosperity to Nigerians. So these are the areas where government policy needs to be focused so that Nigeria will become a productive economy. Because when you are a productive economy, it then means that you have created jobs. So instead of graduates just finishing school and roaming about doing nothing, they will go into those jobs, they will work, they will earn salaries, they will go to the market, they will buy, and business people will be very happy, and that is how the economy is jump-started. This government has been talking only statistics. We have never heard them talk about we have increased power supply by so much. We have increased oil production by so much. We have reduced gas flaring by so much. We have now got farmers back to farm, and they are doing so much. We are now putting these rail lines in place. The steel plants, this is how many of them we are getting back. Those are the ways that the economy will work for all.
Now, when you were talking about these policies that would help with our economy, you made mention of oil production and the government also investing in refineries that can compete with Dangote to help with the fuel prices. But at the same time, Nigeria's economy for a long time has been heavily dependent on oil for its economy. What other sectors do you think can offer, more potentials for Nigeria to move beyond oil alone? And why do you think that those sectors have not been explored to its maximum capacity?
Agriculture stands out. Nigeria is an agricultural hub for the world. Nigeria has capacity to feed not only herself, not only Africa, but the world. In agriculture, we have everything that is needed in place. We have the arable land, we have the weather. The climate is good because we have a sufficient amount of rainfall through the year. And when the rainy season is off, we have the water bodies that we can use for irrigation. We have the manpower. And then we have the domestic market for the agricultural produce, 200 million people plus. Then we have a global market of 8 billion people we can feed. If agriculture is given the right attention, meaning instead of allowing farmers to be bending down with their waste using hoe and cutlass, we mechanize agriculture, turn agriculture into an industry. Nigeria would have arrived, because we're talking about oil and gas. Let's not forget that there are many nations today that are talking about switching off from oil and gas. They have targets to switch off from oil and gas. But there is no nation that will switch off from food. No nation. If we switch off from food, all of you will die. So agriculture is the economy for Nigeria. Unfortunately, agriculture is the one that is giving the lowest attention today. Not only are the farmers not empowered with machines, we have allowed bandits and cheap terrorists to come and drive away farmers from their farms, such that even the farming they were doing with hoe and cutlass, they are not able to do it again. That is number one. Number two, another thing that Nigeria is well blessed with, apart from oil and gas, is tourism. You see, Nigeria can easily earn $100 billion yearly from tourists, if not much more. And what does tourism mean? Tourism is that you make your country to be safe. You provide the infrastructure. Those are the only two things you need to provide. The rest that brings a tourist is provided by God. How do I mean? There are tourists that want to be by the ocean, especially big oceans like the Atlantic Ocean. We didn't provide the ocean for ourselves. It's God that placed Nigeria immediately beside the Atlantic Ocean with beaches that will attract tourists. Tourists in the temperate regions today, as we speak now, they are boarding flights to go and look for the sun, in search of the sun. We, Nigerians, we didn't provide that sun for ourselves. God provided it for us. But the mere fact that it is sunny in Nigeria now and it's bitter cold in the temperate regions, these people will come here, they will sunbath, they will enjoy the sun, but they will leave the money here for us. There are other natural features that we didn't provide, which tourists are looking for, like waterfalls, like mountain and hills, like all of those things. So if only we just provide the security and infrastructure, these people can put, a tourist can put $10,000 in their pocket. They will arrive in Nigeria, enjoy these natural features that God has given us for free, and they will go back to their countries with nothing in their pocket. Where's that 10,000?
All right, Mr. Agule, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Well, it seems we have lost Mr.
Can you hear me?
Agule to network issues, but then this is a discussion that we cannot just exhaust in a sitting, but we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for staying with us. We'll go on a short break. When we return, Signature Morning continues.